on my seemingly never-ending quest to find the most ridiculous sentence of genuine Sonic lore possible, let's just take a minute to appreciate that time Sonic straight up fought Chun-Li to stop a pirated copy of Street Fighter 2 from taking over Green Hill Zone. I'm about to throw out a controversial opinion here, so brace yourselves, but Sonic as a series absolutely peaked in 1993. Now, I know you're all raising your pitchforks, ready to take up arms and go to literal war to defend Sonic Adventure, our Generations, our Riders, or hell, maybe even Sonic X. But however good you believe them to be, they were nowhere near as good as the third British novel, Sonic the Hedgehog and the Silicon Warriors. There were a few Sonic novel series published in the UK. One was a choose-your-own-adventure book in case you wanted to play the first 2 Sonic games in the least enjoyable format imaginable. One was a cross between a choose-your-own-adventure book and Dungeons & Dragons. You know, just in case you wanted that sick RPG experience but thought it was for nerds, unless a speedy blue hedgehog was involved in some way. And the focus of this video, a series of short novels based around weird early Sonic canon. A bit like the Fleetway comics, the writers here were given the Sonic Bible cheat sheet for explaining Sonic's deep and intricate lore, and weren't yet made aware that it was immediately decanonized. So in typical British fashion, they made a few changes to the Sonic Bible and wrote what I can only describe as Sonic Protestantism arcs. This book has aged fantastically. Like, forget the usual simile, fine wine ages like this Sonic novel. J.K. Rowling probably loses sleep at night thinking, shit, I could have had my name attached to this book instead of the crappy Harry Potter franchise. One of many regrets she'll have to live with. Attack on Titan readers thought their manga was peak Kino, but let's face it, that's only because Sonic the Hedgehog and the Silicon Warriors was never adapted into the cinematic masterpiece it was destined to be. Much like Dune, people believed it simply would never work outside of its original book format. If you can, for whatever reason, hear me trying to stifle my laughter through all this hyperbole, I assure you that there is no hint of sarcasm here whatsoever, no trace of irony at all. Here, just to prove what a masterpiece this novel is, let me read you an excerpt to prove my point. Those of you who have read the book cover to cover dozens of times will still appreciate hearing the good word of the book spread. And for those less fortunate to have acquired a copy of this book, prepare for your life to change. He bent over the desk, trying to look, and a white boot on the end of a shapely leg lashed out at his head. He pulled back quickly as a young woman in a blue dress and brown leggings, wearing spiked bracelets, and her dark hair decorated with a white headdress leaped up. She landed on the desk in a combat crouch, ready to attack. "You shall not pass," she announced in an oriental accent. Sonic goggled at her. Something about her looked slightly familiar, and that worried him. But she was a babe and a half, and like any gentlemanly hedgehog, he wasn't in the habit of hitting babes. Unless they hit him first. Had she come out of the output device, or been hiding behind the desk? He didn't think there was time to find out. Okay, all jokes aside, this book actually did have a lot of effort put into it. Occasionally there's just straight up prose to set the scene, and it's not shy from using complicated words, which I think is pretty cool for a book aimed at kids, to be fair. I would have expected this to be a lazy cash grab with barely any effort put into it, like that other book in America about Sonic losing his shoes, which nearly led to all the freedom fighters dying. Though conversely, that might all fly out the window when you realise the first sentence of this book is, and I quote verbatim, "It was a dark and stormy night." Now there are some interesting ideas in this book right out of the gate that give a great vibe of early installment weirdness. For instance, the top speed of Sonic is confirmed in Chapter 1. It's 761 miles per hour, which is slightly above the speed of sound, of course. Early canon Tails was a moron. There's a part where he's asked to add 870 rings, 5 rings, and 9 rings, and he guesses that it totals 1,000,000. I can't believe this guy grew up to be the fucking smartest character in the entire series. Also, remember those monitors in the Sonic games that you break open to give you rings or power-ups? The book actually goes to some lengths to explain that there used to be a network of computers that Kintober made before he was evilified by the Chaos Emeralds. The incident that turned him into Robotnik also randomly moved items from his lab into this network, and from there they were spread across all of these terminals he built. It's actually a pretty nifty idea, to be honest. The lore they were going for here was that Kintober wanted to help Sonic any way he could, so these shields were his prototypes of inventions that were designed to aid him through his adventures. Damn, this book's even got dramatic irony now. So what the hell is this book even about? Well, while on their usual patrols of the zones after having beaten Robotnik in books 1 and 2 of the series, Sonic and Tails realise that everyone has mysteriously vanished. They then come across one of Robotnik's old computers, and Tails, trying to play the hero in front of Sonic, starts messing with it and gets scanned straight into the machine. From there, the story splits into having the pair act as deuteragonists. Tails explores the digital labyrinth to find a way out before realising that all the missing critters are likely stuck in the same place he is, so he stages a daring rescue mission, while Sonic uses his keen nose and sense for danger to sniff out Robotnik's lair, unwilling to also be stuck in the same machine with Tails, thus rendering both of them useless, opting instead to hunt down Robotnik in the flesh to save the day. Sonic also bumps into a female mouse named Iggy, who tags along with him for his sections of the story, basically acting as a backup Tails character. Iggy's gimmick is that she is really good at computers, and acts as the only rival to Robotnik on that front, as Tails back then typically played the part of comic relief sidekick / resident L-taker for Sonic to rescue. For a book written in 1993, it goes into a lot of detail about the different computer components Tails is running around on. For example, he can only interface with Sonic when he's on the video card section, and gets confused by why he can't see Sonic's frantic typing anymore when he runs into the extended memory section. Now, I know computers existed back then, of course, and naturally video game consoles would be running all of these components, but having seen so many forms of media have a complete inability to use tech jargon in any sensible degree, I had to keep confirming that this book did, in fact, release in 1993. Add to that the fact that the target demographic here was kids, in a time where not many people had home computers. It's just an overall odd aspect to focus on, but credit to them for going for it. There's a fair few fourth wall breaks with Sonic throughout the book as well, acting almost like a proto-Deadpool. At least we have canonical evidence to confirm that Sonic enjoys the soundtrack that plays in Mystic Cave Zone. Most excellent indeed. And what fourth wall meta commentary would be complete without a few tongue-in-cheek references to other franchises? For example, Tails nearly dies when Tetris blocks fall on him, thrown at him by the CCCP no less, and is nearly eaten by a giant yellow mouth. I wonder who that could be. There's also a virus that affects the inhabitants of Green Hill Zone after they escape the computer world, making them all believe that they're plumbers who have to dress stupidly and jump on people's heads to save princesses. To save the populace from this virus, Sonic, Iggy and Tails have to bring everyone back into the cyberspace world, with our main characters, plus, bizarrely enough, Sally Acorn of all people, digging deeper into Robotnik's database to find the cure. Most of the way down, they find Robotnik's folder of pirated SNES and Mega Drive games, and are forced to play them out in real time.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
Now, earlier in the book, Robotnik had brought Chun-Li, or rather, Chin-Li, as the book refers to her as, out of the PC to fight with Sonic, so he tries to avoid playing that one, recognising where she came from. Though it comes back to haunt him later as all of the villains from that game, plus Chun-Li, for some reason, are able to jump back into the real world and continue fighting him. Luckily by that point, Sonic had played the pirated copy of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game, and very quickly befriended his pixel-perfect digital self, and the two team up to take on the cast of Street Fighter 2 plus Robotnik. Damn, I can't believe they predicted Sonic Generations back in 1993. Like, did I stumble into an alternate dimension or something? What is happening? But hey, I gotta make sure I don't gloss over my favourite part of the story. Near the end, Iggy gives Tails access to the terminal, complete with pipes which take on a more literal sense in this story, and tells Tails to build something that will be useful for fighting Robotnik. Over the course of the next maybe 3 minutes, Tails goes from asking Iggy what the hell is a terminal to how do I connect two pipes, to creating an armoured, weaponised tank complete with missiles and lasers to blast everything out of his way. An armoured tank that gets brought into the real world somehow. Didn't even need a Sonic Adventure 1 character arc, just straight up build a tank.
Jump computer, stop beeping!
Hold on, Tails. Learning computers is a little like learning to read. It's tough at first, but once you get it, you've got a world of information right at your fingertips.
Wow!